reverse parking or the forward parking, if you are getting an option of forward parking, don't go to the right side of the parking place, because it is hard for you to judge. At least it is easier when you go to the left side, because you can see that. And unless you are done with the parking, go and check. Don't say to the examiner like, I'm done or not. Ask, can I go and check outside? Go and check and do the micro adjustment later. And as whenever till you say yes, I'm done now, examiner will not say anything. Okay, the next is speed blindness. This is generally
quick question.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, is it allowed to kind of actually get down from the car to inspect the parking, or should we do the inspection from inside the car?
Yes, absolutely. That is it is you can just take the permission from the examiner, and then you can go and check, because it is all about how you are careful or not careful, and it will actually it has actually the good impact with the examiner. So you are careful, very careful. So that will tell, your signal is very clear. I have to do perfectly because other cars are coming, other people. This is the parking place, and then it should be inside perfectly, this parking lane. So yes.
Can I add something to it? Okay, so one of my friends told me like about this thing during the examination. So they told me that like even if you don't park it exactly perfectly, but like what he told me, like it's important, like when you're parallel parking or reverse parking, is to actually check everything like 2-3 times. So remove your seatbelt and check. That's more important rather than the actual parking skill you have.
Correct.
So yeah, so what he did was he knew how to park. He parked the vehicle, but he failed because he didn't look back and check properly. So that's one of the
right. That's right. That is a good point actually. That because this is as soon as you enter to the parking place, that it is a right hand rule in the place, and then the maneuver, and then the parking is actually the last one. Not so much important, but the checking everywhere, because that is the place that so many cars are coming out and going in, and also the people are, because let's say you are parking in a place and then one family is coming with the kids, right? And you didn't check, and the kids cannot appear in the mirror or in the camera. So that's why it makes sure that go out and check, and then take out the car. So this is not only parking, but also when you take out your car. Okay, let's move on. The turning left. We should say something of the speed blindness, right? Okay, about the speed blindness, sorry. So when it happens, and what does it mean, the speed blindness? So what happens when you go like a country road, 60, 70 or 80 or 90 kilometers per hour, or 110 if you go to the motorways. And then when you again you exit from motorway or exit from countryways, then you have a very high speed, and then immediately you feel like 40 kilometer per hour speed or 30 kilometer per hour speed. Then you feel you are just not moving. And at that time, you just, if there is a speed limit of maximum 30 kilometer per hour, and then you go like 40 kilometer per hour, you feel like 40 kilometer per hour is like 30 kilometer per hour speed, because you have and that is the place, it is the speed blindness happen. So very careful when you are coming, entering into the city, or also, of course, inside the city also, you have to drive very carefully. Next one, turning left. It is always like when there is a left turn, then the examiner's eyes, like, that they observe so closely, because turning right, it is easier than turning left. So you have to really carefully turn left anywhere, even if it is in the country road or in the city, anywhere. Left turn is always riskier than the other turns. So next risk is overtaking. So I would say don't overtake anytime. This is just like it is good for not to take, not to overtake, because you will not gain anything in the city. At least you gain like 30-second maximum if you overtake, but it causes a lot of risk to many other drivers or pedestrians or cyclists. So because you don't get the time to overtake in the city. If you try to overtake, hello, can someone mute that noise? It is a little bit disturbing. Yes, thank you. Okay, now the placing your vehicle in the wrong lane. It happens like examiner says that we are going to the, okay, you follow the direction for the E4 or E18 or something, he says the direction, also going to the centrum. But it happens like to many of us, we miss because of this. A lot of things are not, this brain cannot process at the same time mainly because of the stress. And by chance you put in your vehicle in the wrong lane. So don't decide there if it is the wrong lane, and even if you are not going to the centrum, you are supposed to go to the centrum, but you put in the wrong lane, you cannot go. Don't decide there to change the lane and then go back. That means you are doing 100% fail there itself. So don't do this. If it is the wrong lane, that's perfectly fine. Go with the wrong lane. Whatever it is wrong lane, go a little bit ahead and then ask examiner like, okay, I put in the wrong lane, but then we can go back. Just take a turn and then, or in a roundabout, they come with a U-turn and then correct it. And if you do this instead of doing this, then there is a huge benefit, a lot of advantage. They will be impressed. Now the speed limit. So what happened to the speed limit? Like most of the time, you know that don't look at into the speed limit all the time. When the speed limit is important, when you go to the, like changing from the to the 60 or 70 or 80, 90 kilometer per hour speed, then examiner will see how you are doing this. And there is a continuous stretch. And then if you are doing really bad, then they can observe. Otherwise, the speed limit is, yes.
Okay, so I have a question, like because in the new cars, there's this speed limiter function. Can we use that in the test?
In the you mean there in the traffic bucket car or in the
in the traffic circuit car,
yeah, that you can see it, but in the digital speed limit, you always get it fluctuates quite rapidly.
No,
So
but like if you set a limiter at, for example, 70 and the highway limit is 70, then the car won't go more than 70, right? So can we use
you
that?
mean the cruise control? Okay,
Not
not
the
cruise.
cruise. There is one thing similar to cruise. Cruise is like going automatically, right? But limiter is like set a limit for 70. It won't go more than 70.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't know the answer. This one.
No, I think I can take that. I mean, so you're as per the rules, you are allowed to use any technical help function that the car has.
Okay.
So this is absolutely okay. So no matter what that technology is, whether it is some kind of a speed limiter functionality or a reverse assist, you can use every bit of tech that the car has. But you need to not you need to remember that you shouldn't get distracted while you use the tech. So if you're trying to kind of fiddle around with that tech and trying to set it, and if you miss something on the road, that is going to go against you.
Okay, all right.
But it's not the same thing for the blind spot, right? Because all the new cars have the blind spot
blind
detection.
spot is something. No, yeah, well, for the blind spot, you have to kind of really show that you're looking at the blind spot. No, you're right, absolutely. With
Okay,
respect to
okay,
the blind spot, you can't simply say that the car has the tech to detect it. I mean, that won't fly.
okay. For I think I don't know this one because it probably also depend on the examiner to examiner, or it is a
I can add a bit here. In the exam, I had Volvo V60, which has this speed sign. I mean, like speed, what is the road speed limit sign which comes up on the dashboard. You can use it, but it so happened that during the start of the test, the instructor said me that not to be dependent on it. Before I looked at it, he said that it's more of it works sometimes properly and it don't work, so you go with your flow, so not be on
that's
that.
true.
Very,
That's
very
true.
true. In fact, I've seen that happening too on quite a number of occasions. I've seen sometimes it kind of lists the speed as 40 when it's actually 30. So if you go by what the car is showing you instead of actually looking for the signs, you
Yeah,
can
that's
actually fail
correct.
the
That's
test.
correct. That is also one of the thing I would like to say that the most of the GPS they are I think they were updated, but due to some reason like they now remove the all the 50 sign most of the places, and then but your GPS will say 50. So don't overspeed. That means
Yeah,
40
yeah,
sign, but
yeah.
GPS says it is the 50. So be careful with believe this what you are looking in the speed limit, not
Yeah,
to the
but
just
just one more point there. See, exam runs for around 20 to 30 minutes, so it can go 35 or 45
yeah
max.
yeah
However, you see that you need to adjust the main important parts of it, like seat belt, mirrors, and the specifically the important things around these. So let's say that you are getting into a tech to adjust it, and you have googled it and you have done all the research because which car the traffic work it uses and everything, but just don't stick on to it and then try to say that, okay, how can I adjust, and don't struggle in front of the instructor. Okay,
Okay,
so
good
I'm trying
point.
to
Yes.
set this up but I'm not able to. So it's better that you take it as is, and keep it as simple as possible, but at the same time do the mandatory you spend more time in doing the mandatory things, like I just said.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, thank you. uh, so yeah, sometimes the examiner they wanted to test like okay, we are going back, just we can turn back. And then what they were actually asking at that point in time, so how you do the uh, turning around the corner, or how you handle the situation. They will not tell you that how it is going back or how you do it, but then it will be a good thing to know that like L-shaped turning that the corner and then do it properly and then going back. Next one is the nervousness. You know that nervousness is always there until you pass, actually. So what I would say here is work for some time. What makes you nervousness? Like for example, when I was driving, any car behind me, it makes me so much nervous, you know. So it is really, I feel as soon as I see a car behind, and then I started something I'm doing good or not, and sometime also all the front car they go very high speed. They don't follow the speed limit. And what to do? How to handle this situation? Like if you just follow that car, then you are over speeding. So just don't follow any car front or behind. Do your own, and then check what kind of things you get nervous. Like for me, it was kind of uh, following cars all the time. So as soon as I see in the mirror and the queue of cars are coming, and then I feel nervous. So you work out with this one, and that will be perfectly like you can set, because that is the only the execution part. You know the driving, you know everything. Only you just take out the nervousness part, and this is not end of the world. Even if you fail or whatever the result, don't look at the result at that time. This 30 minutes, just go and perform your test, and that's all. This traffic signal, many places, that if you see this in the road, sometime it there are traffic signal just after the roundabout, and if you are not aware, and then suddenly it is a red light, and then you exit, and then you just miss it, and there is no concession. If you miss this traffic signal, then it is 100% fail. So there are some places not in the junction, but to make you like less speed, or there is a traffic signal in many cities. So you have to be really careful with the traffic signal. Then this is the part, one of the important thing is joining and exiting the motorways. So when you join into motorways, so you have to speed up. And when you exit, don't make your speed less until the exiting point. And then you will see suddenly there is a 60 or 70, generally 50 speed. And you have to put the brake again. And after that, immediately you find a roundabout. That is, you have to work out in your brain that most of the exiting place, you immediately see a roundabout. And then with a lot of direction, like you go to the country road, or again to go to the another motorways, or go to the city. If you go to the city, you can see this 40 kilometer per hour sign, or if you go to the country road, you go 60 or 80. So you have to work out in the brain before before executing. So if it is clear in your head, then it will much easier to execute. And as soon as you go for the examiner, will ask you for a motorways, then just keep in mind that it is in the right side. So it will not go into the left side, because immediately he will or she will tell you the exit now. Enter and exit, otherwise time will not permit. So it will very soon, but don't get nervous here, because when I was doing the test, actually it was making me so much nervous. Oh, E4 or E18 or something, then it is the speed, and then how can I exit, and this so many things, all the questions coming up in your mind. But just be clear that it is like very short time of time, and you just focus on the right side. So exit, enter, and then exit, and the speed limit, and there is a roundabout. Yeah, that's all. Stop sign in any part,
if I may add one thing,
yes.
My instructor, this happened to me while I was doing this joining and exiting motorways. So I was in a higher, so this is particularly more relevant to people with manual transmissions. So I was in a higher gear because I wanted to be efficient. That was eco driving, so I was in a higher gear. It was 70 road, and then I had to quickly accelerate. So I dropped it only to fourth gear, and I tried to kind of accelerate, but it was short acceleration felt. And so he said I should have planned it better, that I should have actually dropped it to third, where I have even more acceleration, and then so that is an exception for the eco driving. So you are allowed to kind of go into higher revs with third gear, for instance, because it gives you maximum acceleration. So if you have a very short acceleration felt, by all means drop down maybe to even third gear, accelerate all the way up or very close to what you want to, and if you feel that you can make it to the speed within the time.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. A good point, actually. Thank you. It is for manual transmission is really good point. It is all the automatic one, it is slightly different, then you can
yeah, I just add that to what you said. I mean, I had this question to myself that, when you accelerate, the car goes as a vroom, right? So that's the sound it gives, because you need to come up to the speed. I asked that, is that okay? And it is absolutely okay. So, like you said, it is a third gear. You have a better possibility to go up to the speed, and then but you cannot achieve. But your engine has more power when you're on a lower gear than on the higher gear. And in automatic transmission, there are various entries and exits where you have to like take a round, and then you hardly have any time left before you reach to the speed. So that in that times, your car obviously has to go, and it can go like, you might feel a bit bad that you're doing room to the car, but it's absolutely okay as well.
Okay.
Just a question. So if you have like driven the automatic Volvos or something, so they have the
Yeah.
kick down feature. Can we use that kick down to like achieve the acceleration?
What do you mean? Like, I don't know what is the kick down feature.
Kick down is basically like when you push the accelerator a lot, then there's a click sound on the accelerator, and
Yeah.
the car kind of goes into a sports mode or something like that. It just drains the power from the car. So are you allowed to use that as well for that?
Yeah. I mean, see, the thing is, even when you are in drive mode, when you accelerate, and these cars are built so efficiently that you go in like within few seconds. And trust me, wherever you see that the entry is curved, and entry is straight, then you have ample amount of time to make it to that speed. So it's not like, we should not get stressed to ourselves that it might end soon, so I have to join the road.
Yeah,
Or
true.
it might be like, it is designed, and it is structurally and very well designed, that
Yes.
when you are entering, if the road has curved, then you have ample amount of time. If it is a straight entry, then you will have a bit shorter time. Also, it depends on the space also, but they have designed it very, very well.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's move one more, and then you can. Okay, so this is the planning step by step, junction to junction. That means, according to me. So when you have a red light and you stop there, so don't just wait for the signal or talk with the examiner, what are the politics or other things, and never do that. What you do in this case, like when there is a red light, then that gives just relax, little bit breathe, and then plan for the next step. Like for example, you are waiting for the red stop traffic signal, and then examiner is saying that we are going to left turn. So just observe the left turn. What are the there in the left turn? Is there a bus lane? Is there a speed limit? And whatever is there, you can observe from there, and it will be much easier to take the decision. So then you go to the another lane or another junction. Then if you are lot of red light, then you are fortunate. Just wait and then plan. Wait and plan. So you get much time there, but just don't sit and then okay, relax. And the last point is when it is, that this is the timing is like 30 minutes or something, and then examiner say, okay, now let's go back to the traffic circuit. And that time don't get relaxed, because that is where you tend to do lot of mistakes. Probably you miss the right hand rule or something. So until you go back and park the car inside the parking place of the traffic circuit, don't get relaxed with the signal from the examiner that okay, we are now going back to the traffic circuit. Okay, that's are the 20, but I can add more, or at least we have already discussed. And then one thing finally you must need, that is exceptionally you have to need these things. And let's see what is this one. You have to be in a lucky day. So If you are lucky, then your all the execution and everything will perfect and you'll pass. So, and the most important thing is, if by chance you fail, I don't think you are going to fail, but if by chance you fail, then don't get angry or irritated or annoyed. So instead, don't argue with or justify that you made minor mistakes, but you failed, and don't ask or don't request them to change their decision, because it is never going to happen. So don't waste time on asking or requesting them to change the decision. Once they decide, means that they decide. As far as I know, it never happened like something that they have decided and then they change the decision. So instead, you should take as much as time as possible from the examiner and ask politely, like, what was the major mistakes according to him or her or other examiners? What was the mistake and what you want to work on for the next time? So take the best time out of it. So that is the best time to get the feedback. And because I know this is very painful to ask something, because you done a lot of things, lot of practice, lot of things, a lot of other things are going on at that time. And when you see that you are failed, and then it is difficult to control that emotion. But definitely it will help, because what they say actually, that after your examiner, because whatever you are getting training, or your trainer, your traffic school, that is the theory, kind of theory, but this is the practical real test. So take the opportunity here, ask them, and they will not deny to do that. Otherwise they will say, okay, you will get the email and then everything, and then only one word, okay, your risk assessment was not good. So here, take your time and then completely ask, so next time you get 100% success. Work on that failures or mistakes, what you are doing, and that is it. These are the signal, all the signal you have to like learn by heart, or you should see that where is the signals located and then what does it mean. Not this, but many more. And these are some of the, this is just from the, and this is what the acceleration lane I was talking before, that you have to really speed, accelerate. So that's why it is the lane name is acceleration lane. So you have to accelerate, and then and this is the place where you indicate much earlier. Don't wait until you join the lane. Okay, this is the one of the question, if you want to answer, anyone. Otherwise we are coming to end of the presentation, and then we tell, or other people can join in sharing the experiences.
Scar one can go first.